Welcome back. Well, as many of you know, October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we here at ABC Action News and the Morning Blend have spent a lot of attention this month in making sure that people know of resources and know where to go for help. And one of our partners in helping get the message out on this is the Pinellas Community Foundation. And this morning, we're happy to welcome Duggan back to the show. And then we're also going to be talking here with Lariana from CASA about what they are doing as well with this issue. But so good to see you both. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah. So Duggan, let's start with you because we've had a chance to talk with you just recently about all the great things that you're doing in the community. But when it comes to domestic violence awareness, talk a little bit about why this is important for you guys to make sure that you were speaking out about this in the community as well, and what you and your team are doing to help.
Sure. So domestic violence in our community has been an issue for a long time, but we're very fortunate to have organizations like CASA that provide an array of services to people in need. And so part of our work is to not only support those organizations financially through grants, but then also to help them spread their message so that more people know what is available and how to get help. And so that's another reason we're supporting ABC Action News and your work to take action against domestic violence.
Yeah. So talk about the scholarship program that you guys are kind of teaming up on as well, because I know this is an important thing.
Sure. So CASA came to Pinellas Community Foundation because they wanted to start a scholarship fund in part for survivors of domestic violence to help them connect and pursue paths in our criminal justice system. And one of the reasons that's of benefit is because it brings that lived experience. Sometimes survivors don't encounter some of the most compassionate sides of our criminal justice system. It's very confusing and it's difficult to navigate. And the thought process is that if we could bring more people to our criminal justice system who have the lived experience and know what survivors are going through, it would strengthen our response to domestic violence in our community. So they worked with Pinellas Community Foundation to get their Stand Up for Change scholarship fund started.
Oh, I love that. Well, Lariana, yeah, let's talk with you a little bit about what CASA does, because again, I think it's getting the word out on how much you do. And unfortunately, here in 2020, we are hearing that there's a rise in domestic violence, and we really just want to make sure that people know the resources that are available so they can get help.
Sure. And, many people don't realize how prevalent domestic violence is. It happens more than aggravated assault, vehicle theft, robbery, rape, and murder combined. And so this is a huge issue in our community. And oftentimes when people think about domestic violence organizations, they think about shelter. And while we do operate one of the largest shelters in the state of Florida, we have a variety of programs and services that help survivors of domestic violence without necessarily needing shelter. So for instance, we have a completely free injunction for protection attorney team that can help somebody secure that injunction for their protection. We have a whole variety of different resources, including a 24/7 hotline where someone can just call and talk to someone about their situation, determine is it domestic violence, and what are the next steps for me to do to get help, and how can they create a safety plan to make sure that they're safer in the situation that they're living in.
Yeah, we have about a minute left. I want to kind of throw it to both of you. Lariana, let's start with you. But what's your take home? What do you really want people to know, again, as we're just trying to spread awareness and information about resources on where to turn?
I think a lot of people don't really understand when they're in a domestic violence situation. Domestic violence doesn't necessarily start with violence. There's a lot of other control mechanisms that are at play, and those mechanisms from a perpetrator are designed to confuse their victim. And so it's really important to understand, A, you're not alone. B, this is really common and it happens very, very frequently. And so to call your local domestic violence organization and talk through what's happening to you so that you really do understand the control mechanisms that are at play, because most people don't understand what's happening to them, not because they're not super bright, but because the perpetrator is skilled at controlling them.
Yeah. Duggan, what would you close us out here with and making sure people know and understand?
I think one of the best things, as Loriana said, if you're confused or you don't even know what's happening, it's best to reach out. And it's okay to ask for help. and it's okay to contact our local domestic violence centers and find out how you can work through your situation.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for your time. We want to thank the Pinellas Community Foundation again for partnering with us on our campaign at the station. Of course, we have a great website too that's just dedicated purely to this as well. There is your website too. But thank you both so much. We really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.